Hey y'all, it's Sharita. Thanks for joining me again as I go into the behind the scenes and a lot of the shenanigans of owning and running Blank Space Designs, my boutique stationery and gift shop. In this video, I want to get into my top 10 equipment, tools, and programs that I use for my small business. Over the last 3 years of running Blank Space Designs, through a lot of trial and error, I think I have really settled into my top 10 pieces of equipment and tools that really helps me run my business in the best way possible. I've even been able to scale a little bit based on a few of these investments, so stay tuned. First up on this list is my phone. Like most of you, I use my phone for everything. So much so that I had to borrow another phone just to record this video of my phone. I currently have the Samsung S24 Plus, and it is awesome. These days, most smartphones have great photo and video capabilities, so it just makes sense to skip that $500 vlogging camera that everybody's been screaming about lately. Maybe one day I'll think differently, but for now, my phone completely meets all of my needs. I love using a phone for everything so much that I'm even considering buying another one just as like a backup. You can find some unlocked, pretty great smartphones for like $125 on Amazon. I'm currently eyeing the Google 8 on Amazon, and I think it's only about $150. So that's still way less than one of the popular vlogging cameras. A lot of the newer phones, including mine, now includes a pro manual photo and video capability as well, where you can manually adjust the ISO, the aperture, and the focus. If you're into that level of ability, it's completely there for you. Personally, I'm good with just using the auto features, and it's been working pretty well. One quick tip for any Android users. I have no idea about iPhone, so you're going to have to Google this for yourself. If you plan to upload any short form videos like Reels and TikToks, go into your video settings and turn off the HEVC. It causes video compression on most apps and will cause your videos to look grainy and weird whenever you upload them. It took me way too long to figure that out. Instagram and TikTok don't really allow 4K either, so I just don't record anything in 4K so that I'm able to use my content across all platforms. So far, this method is working for me and the video quality is always great. If you have a small business, I'm sure you realize very quickly how important additional storage is. My current external hard drive is the Seagate portable drive with 1 terabyte of storage. I've had it for about 3 years and it's been pretty great. It keeps all of these files off my laptop, which means my laptop works a lot more smoothly. And it's nice and small, so it's easy to just throw in my bag. The type of hard drive is an HDD drive, which is cheaper, but because it has moving parts inside of it, they tend to not last as long as the SDD hard drives. SDD drives are more expensive, but at this point, it's really just about preference whenever you're choosing between one or the other. If a physical external drive is too expensive or it's just not your jam, just jump into the cloud. A free 15 gigabytes comes with every Gmail address. A 100 gigabyte cloud storage with Google, it's only $1.99 a month, and a 2 terabyte cloud storage is $9.99 a month. Between my external hard drive, Google storage, and my OneDrive storage that I have through my Microsoft account, I'm all set. I have only had this thermal printer for a few months, and I am definitely kicking myself for not getting one earlier. This one is the ZRHI thermal printer that is Bluetooth enabled. I currently use it for shipping labels, packaging stickers, and the pricing stickers for my products in the retail store. It is so fast, and I love that I no longer waste any of my precious printer ink. I will say that you will need to be careful with the kind of thermal labels you use with it. I bought some cheap knockoff ones from Amazon and they did not work with this printer at all. However, the Munbin labels work perfectly, and I also use an Amazon seller called Memo Queen. Those labels work as well. My main complaint is that the printer has to be physically connected to your computer by USB in order to print, and that sucks if that's the only way you plan to print. However, you can print remote by using the Bluetooth capability on your phone. So that's the way I normally do it, and it works pretty great for that. If you watch my studio vlogs, you'll know that my first Cricut, the original Air, conked out on me a few months ago. I had that Cricut for almost 8 years, so it definitely held up well. I recently replaced it with the Cricut Explorer Air 2, and straight out of the box, it was a workhorse. It is so fast. It has significantly changed the amount of time it takes for me to crank these products out. As a one woman show that still makes every single product in house, I love this cutter since it cuts down on the production time. Now, I know Cricut has a bit of a bad rep, and I get it. I was on the phone with them a few weeks ago with a small issue that I had. That was quickly resolved, I have to say. However, in my personal experience, Cricut cutters have worked so well for me. And if you're just starting out, you can get an older model for a pretty low cost these days. As with anything, there's definitely a learning curve and a lot of trial and error. But the Cricut community on YouTube is so helpful and so knowledgeable. So I'll always recommend a Cricut if you're first starting out. This list is supposedly in no particular order. However, if I were to order these items, this printer would be in the top two and is definitely not number two. I have had this Epson EcoTank 8550 for about 2 years, and within days of buying it, it completely leveled up my business. The print is ridiculously vibrant and beautiful. It can handle borderless printing for sizes up to 13 inches by 19 inches. So for those of you who offer large prints, this would be pretty good for you. It uses a cartridge-free printing design and is very easy to refill. But let's be real, ink is crazy expensive for any printer these days, and this printer is really no exception. However, due to some ink-related science that I cannot even begin to explain, I do not have to refill very often. I use this printer every day for business, and the ink lasts a very long time. I originally started with the Epson 4700 series and love that one. So I do believe I'll be an Epson girl for life. A quick tip though, the printer quality is awesome straight out of the box. But if you want the print color to be as accurately as possible, I highly recommend getting a custom ink profile. A custom ink profile will make sure that what you see on your computer is what is actually being printed. I used a private company for this, and they are no longer accepting orders for this service. But I'll leave some other options for this in the description box so you can check that out. Definitely not required, but it has absolutely helped in making sure that everything I print is as accurate as possible. I use Pirate Ship for all of my track shipping. Pirate Ship offers pricing that is pre-negotiated with UPS and the U.S. Postal Service. It has no monthly fees, no additional costs, and no minimum volume. They have integrations with all of the major selling platforms, including Etsy and Shopify. So all of my shipping activity still lives in one place. It's so easy to use. They handle all of the notifications and all of the shipping confirmations, and they always provide cheaper postage. Shipping can be so expensive, so if I can save even a little bit, I'll take it every time. What can I possibly say or add about Canva? It's perfect. I have no notes. Okay, maybe I have a few notes. But seriously though, as a OG Canva girly, it has added so much over the last few years. Making social media graphics, YouTube banners, flyers, and mock-ups is just so easy. My first two YouTube videos were completely made in Canva. I have the pro version and I cannot recommend it enough. I find it pretty user-friendly and their element library is very extensive for what I need. If you spend any time in these social media streets, Canva is perfect for making sure that your sizing and branding and other things are consistent every single time. They have a free version. So if you just want to play around with it and that sort of thing, there's always a free version. No trial, no nothing. It could be free forever. But there are some limitations when you use the free version. If you want a significant step up from Canva, however, Photoshop has really leveled up my graphics and mockups and even a lot of my design elements. Now, we all know Adobe products are expensive, like almost ridiculously so. But if you can swing it, it's a great program to have and a great skill to develop. I am completely self-taught and I learned everything from YouTube. I'm sure I still don't know 60% of what Photoshop can do. I currently have an Adobe plan that includes Lightroom as well. So between Photoshop and Lightroom, I can really dive into photo editing that just looks and feels better for me and my brand. Next up is this adjustable electric standing desk. It is 48 inches long and can be adjusted in height between 27 inches and 45 inches. When I first started making stationery, I would sit on the floor to use my $20 paper cutter, and it was hell on my back. The standing desk was a great investment. No more stooping, no more long periods of bending over. My old lady back is so grateful. It was pretty easy to put together, and it even has a few programmable memory presets, so it moves up and down at just the push of a button. My only complaint is that I wish I had gotten the 55-inch one. I would love an even bigger one. So hopefully, in the future, very soon, I will upgrade to a longer one so I have even more space. My industrial paper cutter is a literal beast. My original paper cutter was a little $20 thing from Michael's that only cut about 5 pieces of paper at a time, and the cut accuracy was very questionable. This HFS cutter can cut up to 400 pages or 1.5 inches thick of paper at one time. I don't attempt to cut that much at any given time, but I regularly cut up to 250 pages with medium chipboard as well at one time, and it has caused me no issues. Now, I admit that I think I may have to replace it pretty soon. It has been jamming a little over the last couple of weeks, and I've had to adjust the handle mechanism as well. However, I have had this thing for over 3 years, and for the price and the amount of accurate cuts it's made over that time, I think it's absolutely worth it. There's no way I could go back to using a cheaper cutter and only cutting a handful of pages at a time. I definitely need something that can smoothly cut through hundreds of pieces of paper and chipboard at one time. This has been great for my business. Now, with the normal disclaimer that everyone says, you don't need any of this stuff to really get started. To get started with any kind of stationery business or any kind of art print business, all you need truly is a decent printer. And there are decent printers out there now for like 150 bucks. Like I stated earlier, I started with an Epson 4700 series printer, and I believe I caught it on sale for $145. It lasted a very long time, and I actually just recently replaced it because I still use it as just my normal house printer. As I said, I'm an Epson girly, will be for life. Also, I mentioned that you can pretty much get a cutter at a pretty decent price as well. I believe that I saw in Walmart, they had the original Air on sale for about 120 bucks. So if you do a little bit of looking, you can get a printer and a cutter, and that's the start of your business right there. Now, of course, with everything, there's going to be a lot of trial and error as you look into paper type that you like, sticker type that you like, just all the other little bits and pieces. But a lot of that just really comes down to preference. At some point in the future, maybe I'll go into a little bit of detail about the kind of paper and vinyl, sticker paper, and all of that I use. But to be quite honest, as I think I've said in the past, I don't know if that would be truly helpful for you, because if you don't use the exact same printer and all of that I use, you might not like this sticker paper. But just let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. As always, thanks for rocking with me. If you have any other business related questions, feel free to ask. I'm definitely not an expert, and I'm definitely struggling day to day with a lot of other small business owners, but I do believe that I've learned quite a bit over the last 3 years. A lot of it through trial and error, a lot of it through my own mistakes, and a lot of it just right here on YouTube from a lot of the other small business owners who are just gracious enough to share their experience. As always, thanks for rocking with me. I'll see you in the next one.